Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday at 7:30. Hi, I'm Dr. Cecelia, Pediatric Occupational Therapist, and with me, as usual, is my friend, partner, co-host, Jen, mom of two amazing boys. How are you tonight, Jen?
I'm good. It's Tuesday. Can't complain. How are you?
I am doing amazing. I am so I get so excited for Tuesday nights at 7:30 because I know there's so many families, parents, caregivers who are waiting on us to help them navigate their days as it pertains to working and taking care of and parenting children with different disabilities or just learning challenges or behavioral challenges. And that's become a very big part now. The behavioral challenges have become such a big part of the families that we're helping. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and I just am excited to see your gorgeous face and spend time with you because I'm always learning about different things that I should be doing in my home. So
Well,
I'm
we're
right there.
here.
I'm one of those families. You can
Right.
count on me.
Well, we're here for each other, right? We're here. We're the village. We're part of the village.
Yes.
So it's definitely helping. So last week, for those of you who didn't see last week's show, but remember, you can always find our shows on YouTube at SLR Insights. Make sure that you go and you subscribe so that you don't miss any of our shows. But you can also just search and you'll find what we have covered in our many episodes that we've had in such a short period of time. So last week we spoke about how important it was to get our children to do for themselves, the difference that is made when children are actively engaged and we as parents and adults are not doing for the children. And last week was an eye opener for a lot of parents who didn't really see the significance of the importance of getting children to do for themselves. So tonight I'm like going to delve, Jen and I, we're going to delve a little bit further into how it improves school. So last week we kind of made it general, but tonight we're going to focus on how it actually helps your children in school.
Yes, I'm very excited because when I first heard about chores, I would have never thought that it was going to have any sort of impact in my children's school. I will say that having them have some sort of responsibility is giving them confidence, I would say, because they just know exactly what to do. But I say this because my youngest, his teacher is very big about them having a neat desk. And so she'll also like give them one pencil on Monday. And then like if they keep that same pencil, they earn a reward at the end of the week. And so I can see how those little things correlate with, cleaning and then, him having that expectation to have a neat and tidy desk, to know where everything is, and also keep track of his belongings is also organizing and being clean. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, but you see how everything is interrelated, right? And I mean, and every task has certain components that it does. Like everything that we do, for example, in occupational therapy, we call it task analysis. And like as a therapist, we use activities to build skills,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what we do is we take a task and we look and see, okay, what's involved in that task.
Yeah.
And so we use activities to build skills as therapists. So for us as occupational therapists, what we do is everyday tasks that we use to help rehabilitate whenever a person has an injury, or whether a person needs help to gain certain skills. So for us as occupational therapists, it's natural. That's what we do. We use
Yeah.
activities to build skills. So by me sharing this with parents now is really just showing them how they too can use activities with to build skills without being an occupational therapist. Like,
Yeah.
it's there, it's
And
inherent.
also you're knocking out, a task that needed to get done anyways.
And, and you're knocking out a task that needed to get done. So that's when the task is even more beneficial as a learning tool, because you're doing something that's functional and purposeful, because you needed to do that in your daily living anyway.
Yeah.
So for example, a task that you have to do every day is more beneficial in helping you learn skills than a task that you never do and somebody just say, hey, work on this.
Right.
So in therapy, we really try to use tasks that are meaningful to the individual, whether it be a child or an adult that
Yeah.
we're working with. We
Yeah.
use tasks that they want to be able to do, that they enjoy doing, that they have to do. We use those same tasks instead of making up novelty tasks to help them, because the research shows that if you participate in things that you love doing and things that you have to do, it really helps to build your physical and cognitive skills. So isn't that amazing that we don't have to reinvent the wheel? It's everything is right here. It's right
Yeah,
here.
I did not know that. So that's huge to know, especially if you have, a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old. I think like that's their prime where you should, very much be implementing this. That's
Absolutely. Because children, especially when they're young, they are primed to learn. That's when the
yeah,
brain is more plastic, right? That's when it's more bendable and changeable. And that's when it's important to really start exposing your children to doing for themselves. Yes, of course, there are certain things that a 1 year old can't do yet, but that doesn't mean you can't expose them to it,
hmm
right? The one
right.
day they'll be able to do it, and I tell you, if you expose the child to it, the earlier you expose the child to an activity, the easier it becomes for them when they get to that stage when we are expecting them to do it. And a lot of times you'll see kids who are 3 years old doing things that typically it's a 10-year-old. Like, I see my nephew, he just started kindergarten, and he's writing better than fifth graders that I've seen.
Like
Because
handwriting.
handwriting, yes, going right on the lines, forming those letters correctly.
I don't
And
even write like that.
I know, but that's because his grandma, who is my mom, is a school teacher. And back in the days, I mean, she's retired now. Back
Yeah.
in the days, they taught handwriting. And we nowadays, we don't really teach handwriting in school, but
No, we
she
don't.
taught handwriting as a first grade teacher back
I
then.
remember that. Actually, weirdly, I remember having our books and then having to practice writing. And I think I did cursive maybe for a year or two.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes, we
remember that. Oh
used
my God.
yes, we used to do cursive writing. And
Yeah.
then over the years it changed. There's some private schools and maybe some school
Right.
districts across the country who might still do cursive in kindergarten, but in the school district that I work in, they don't do cursive.
We don't
But
either.
yet they want to introduce cursive at like fourth grade. And I'm like, what's the point? Because the children already learned a basic motor pattern for print. And now you're going to say cursive. But
Well,
anyway,
it's weird. Somehow it's being implemented because my youngest has come home and asked me to write things in cursive.
but are
Um,
they teaching him how to write things in cursive?
so
And
I don't know, but that's a great question for our 9 weeks is coming up. So I'm going to ask that, or just want to know how. Or I know his teacher's amazing, so I don't know if she's doing it on her off time or.
I don't know. And there's one thing, okay, you can write in cursive. Can you read something that's given to you in cursive? That's another thing.
That's a
You know,
whole
they,
other
yeah. So
answer.
those school systems, they got to figure out what they are doing where that is concerned. But yeah, I mean, kids can learn things at an early age.
Yeah.
And that's where we started on this. Like kids can learn things at a certain age. A child is not too young to learn cursive.
And we're not too
So
old to learn either.
and we're not too old to
If
learn.
you want to learn cursive, you could do it.
Yeah. However, the earlier you learn, the
Yeah,
better.
for sure.
So yeah, so when kids do chores, they're not just helping the family, they are literally building their brains, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I want parents to remember. When you have your child engage in chores, it's not just about helping out in the house. They are actually learning. They're learning executive functioning skills, which is the brain's ability to remember, focus, and have self control. They're learning working memory, which is the ability for the brain to hold that information while they're working on something else, right? Like a lot of time, working memory is like if you're playing a card game and you have to remember what the person before you played so you can know how to respond. That's working memory. So
Right.
you're maintaining that thought process in your mind as you plan to do something else. They're learning control, wherein they have the ability to stop themselves from doing something that's impulsive. And they're learning cognitive flexibility, which is the ability to move from thing to one thing to another. So, a lot of times, especially children with autism, they don't have that cognitive flexibility.
Right.
They tend to get stuck on one thing, or they perseverate on one thing, and it's hard to say, hey, um put away the laundry and then go take a bath. They're on the laundry, but they can't move from going to the next step.
And that's
So
also true for people diagnosed with ADHD. They're very
mm,
forgetful too.
okay, so yeah, ADHD and autism,
I
they
think that they two-step instructions can be difficult because you get distracted easily, and that could be just from your thoughts or something that you see. But I don't know. Sometimes I have ADHD, and sometimes I think it's my superpower because I can jump from this to that, and I could just.
Well, the thing is, it's good when you can jump from this to that. The
It
problem is when you jump from this to that and this wasn't finished
completed.
and
Yes.
it wasn't completed, and then you went on to that.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
problem.
that's actually right now at work. I'm working off of like 3 different CRMs, and that's been the most challenging thing, is because I have to finish one thing and I can't go into another profile without getting all of the notes into all the different CRMs. So it could be time consuming, but hey, I would rather trust myself than make a mistake that can end up costing a lot. So
Right. So you make sure that you verify before
verify. There
you
you go.
before you
Yes.
go ahead.
I actually have that written down somewhere.
Yeah. And
Trust but always verify.
actually, there's a lot of research that backs up that kids who regularly did household chores had better working memory, attention, control, and ability to perform tasks completely. And these are skills needed
Right.
for success in school. So, guys, get the kids working. Get the kids working. So,
Yep.
yes,
They help you, and you help them.
absolutely. Absolutely. They're helping at home and you're helping to build their brains. Now, there are certain chores, and remember I spoke about earlier how as occupational therapists we do this in therapy. We take the task and then we see what skills each task can work on.
Right.
So that's parents, you can make a list of chores that will help your child work on the skills that you want your child to work on.
Yeah.
Uh, right? So, for example, if you're sorting laundry, then right, one, we can look at the just lifting the laundry basket, right? We're going to break it down a little bit. Lifting the laundry basket, that is strengthening, and that is body awareness, right? Because you're getting your muscles and joints involved with that. Then, if you think about just taking out the laundry and out of the basket and putting it into the wash, that's another motor skill, right? That you can look at. If you look at sorting, you're looking at, okay, most people typically sort their laundry into coloreds and whites. So that's visual discrimination, right? So they're looking to, oh, this is colored, this is white. And there are times when
Yeah.
it might be like a very light pink or cream. And then you realize that, okay, they now might think, do I put this in the colored or do I put this in the white? But that's something that you can help them use their own this discernment on. If you're not going to use bleach, that is right, but they're going to use their own discernment and go, okay, I'll put the creams and the beiges and the light pinks, those things into the light. So that's visual discrimination. But overall, it goes back to the school skills of grouping, sorting,
Right.
classifying, categorizing, right? And they need that during speech. If they're getting speech therapy, that's covered a lot during speech. They need it during math. They need
Oh,
those visual discrimination
in
skills
science,
and science.
social studies, we're studying maps right now. Yeah. And then, yep.
Absolutely. And so a lot of the tasks that we have, if we just look at them, we can break them down and we can decide which tasks are more beneficial for our children.
Yeah.
But remember that anything they are doing is helpful. Anything they're doing is helpful. But if you as a parent wanted to take it a little step further to make it wherein you are targeting specific skills, then that's what you do. You take the task and you look at it and see what skills they are working on. And you guys remember, you can always email me at schoollifeready@gmail.com if you need your task broken down for you. Or you can say, my child is having difficulty with following two steps directions, or my child is having difficulty with categorizing things. What activities do you suggest? And I will send you a list of activities that you can use to help your child in a particular area. So remember that we're here for you as well. We are here for you. You can just reach out to us via email at schoollifeready@gmail.com. And we will be more than happy to answer your questions and send you whatever it is that you need to be able to help your child at home while your child is helping themselves and helping the family at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah. So kids do learn best too when we not only give them the chores to do, but we reinforce the skills and we reward the behaviors. Don't ever forget about providing positive reinforcement when you work with your child. Don't forget that. That's a very important component. So yes, you're giving chores, but you want to make sure that you provide that positive reinforcement, which last week we spoke about. It could be allowances and or what did you say again, Jen? The token.
A token situation. Yeah, and I also wanted to say that that you can break it down, like it, not everything has to get done at once. I mean, ideally we want that, but breaking it down into steps. So what I do with my kids, it's like we do, I don't know, they match two pairs of socks, and then it's like, okay, we can go through the football around outside, and then we'll come back inside. I'll set a timer for 5 minutes. We'll come back inside and do two or three more things. And yes, it does take me all day to get something done, but it's helping them build their endurance, if you will. And I think ultimately the task is getting done, just not on my terms.
Absolutely. So it doesn't have to be wherein you're using just 1 hour to get something done,
Yeah, be
right? And
flexible.
you too have to know your child. You
Yeah.
have to know your child's tolerance, your child's endurance level. So that brings us to the pain points then, right?
Yeah.
Wherein kids, they might resist or complain,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh yeah.
Or they would say that's going to take so long, or I don't want to do that, or something. So
Yeah.
or sometimes you yourself as a parent, you're busy and you just want to get things done, right? So that's when it's important to do as Jen is saying, wherein break it into small pieces. That everything doesn't need, although it's a chore, it doesn't need to feel like a chore,
Yeah.
right? So that's the thing where parents need to start small.
Yeah. And normalize it, right? Like,
Yeah.
honestly, in order, what I do at home is like I wipe things down almost every day because I don't want it to build up. I don't ever have like a full day at home. Like, life is just life. And so, yeah,
Yeah. So you when you say normalize it, you try to build it into your natural routine.
that's right.
You're going to do it anyway. You're going to sit down and have dinner. Go ahead and have them set the table. You're going to do it anyway. You're going to sit down and have dinner. Make them put the things on the table. Make them, after dinner, load the dishwasher. It has to be done anyway. And it's nighttime or evening time. So you're not in a rush to go anywhere. You have more time then. So you just build it in. Although it's a chore, don't make it feel like a chore.
Yeah,
So you just take it easy, and depending on your child and your child's level of functioning, cognitive level, temperament, you work it in such a way wherein you try to make it as much fun as possible, right? So you can pair it with music or a timer to get stuff done. You're like, let's finish before the song ends,
yeah,
like come up with little things like that. You also, if you know your child might have a little difficulty performing it, we spoke about last week, we spoke about how we either do the first part of it for them or we do the last part of it for them. That was the backward and the forward chaining methods until we can get them to do the entire thing for themselves. We make it visual, so if we need to have little picture cues around the place, like little things in the bathroom, like for brushing their teeth, so they can refer to those visuals should they remember how to what to do and how to do it, right? Because sometimes the kids, they don't remember. They're like, wait, I'm supposed to be doing something. What am I supposed to be doing? Oh yeah, there's that cue on the wall or cue on the fridge that will help them remember what to do and how to do it. So those are really good little strategies to help solve the pain points that you might be going through as a parent, as well as the pain points that your child might be going through. So
Yeah.
definitely use those.
I also want to say that parents, this is hard, but we really have to follow through. So like today, last night I ordered a box, a lock box. It's for cash, and remotes are going to go in there because we're having a hard time getting homework done. So I'm locking up the remotes, and it's like we are working with them, but sometimes they're going to, try to overpower us, and we just have to stand our ground and just say, okay, you don't want to help, I hear you, I understand, but I'm turning everything off and there's
Right,
nothing for you to do.
right,
And so, not until it gets done or you put in some effort. I think that that's very important to set the tone in the beginning so that it is normalized, if you will,
right.
and it reduces those pain points.
Right. And then too, that's called the first then method, where we say, first you do this and then you get that.
Right.
Right. So again, that is kind of the same kind of, we're rewarding them, but we're also setting expectations, right?
Yes.
So first you finish your homework, then you can get the remote to turn on whatever it is they're going to turn on with those remotes. So
Mind
absolutely.
you, we still do our breaks. Like he still has to do one or two problems and then gets the remote back. But even then, he was taking advantage of it. So it left me no choice where it's like, okay, then we're just going to lock him up and then no one's in control. Um, you know?
Yeah, if absolutely. And that's the thing with um working with our children is those trial and errors, because not everything is going to work out perfectly the first time. So by what you
Every
did,
time.
then, like, you had it wherein you were like, okay, you'll work for, say you work for 5 minutes and then you can get the remote. And they do that a lot in like ABA therapy,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like you, but sometimes the kids, they are super smart. They're like, okay, I'll work for 5 minutes and then I want it. But they could have worked for longer and finish it and then get it. So when you see they're manipulating us, then you have to be like, okay, I see you. No, we're going to pull back and maybe say, okay, now you work for 10 minutes as opposed to 5. You work for 10 and then you get it.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised to know in no time they are okay to do the entire task and then they get it. But it's us setting those expectations and not giving in. So as you said, Jen, we have to be consistent. If we say this is how we're doing it, then this is how we're doing it.
Yeah.
If this is a chore you're expected to do, this is the activity I'm giving you to do. um, we try to be as consistent as possible with that activity. And especially with our children who are not flexible, like how we spoke about having that flexibility, we can't just switch on our kids like that. That will make them go haywire sometimes, right? Because
Yeah.
we
But
switch
then
on.
but also like I just feel like I read into my kid's energy, and I know when when he's going to get something done and actually be present. And there are times where he'll sit there and be absent-minded, and I know that he's not reading his book, he cannot answer a question, I know that. But yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so getting the kids to do the chores, we then provide the rewards. And it's so funny
Yeah.
that we're rewarding them to do things that are actually good for them. But they don't know it's good for them. We know it's good for them.
Yeah.
So we have to ensure that we provide those rewards. So getting the kids to complete the chores, it gives them responsibility, it gives them perseverance, it gives them emotional regulation to help handle frustration. So we are doing so much for them when we implement these chores with intention in mind. And
Mhm.
that's the other key, is that we're intentionally giving our kids chores. We're in, like parenting sometimes is like we just parent how we know to parent. But Jen and I's duty here, or responsibility here, is really engaging intentional parenting, right? Because we're going above and beyond with parenting. Yes, it's parenting, but the activities and the stuff that we discuss here week after week, it's really taking parenting to a more intentional level, where we're doing things with our children intentionally, which is still parenting, but we are being intentional in what we're doing. And we know the importance of intention and purpose in our whole lives, right?
Yeah.
So this is no different. This is no different.
That's right. I did just want to make another point and point out that it's actually helped in my home reduce. Um, so like when my youngest makes a mess, my oldest didn't want to clean it before, but now that I'm intentionally giving them tasks, like I'll say to my youngest, "You pick up the toys." He'll wipe this down. It eliminated that whole issue of like who made what mess. Like they were no longer looking at it in that way, if you will, and they're just looking at it as like it's a mess and this is our family, and I just find that to be very sweet, almost like they're being selfless.
So you're saying that one will, okay, I know I've seen it wherein two brothers, one made the mess and the other one is saying, "Oh, I'm not cleaning that up. You made the mess, you clean up." But you're saying if the task was assigned before, then it doesn't matter who did it, or are they now just sharing chores?
I'm saying that it doesn't matter who did it. I've noticed that it's reduced that. So in the beginning, when I did give them those chores, I would hear a lot of that. Well, that's not my toy. That's his lion, And it's like this is my dragon, and let me go pick it up. And so they were sharing the chores, and now they really, I don't know, it's like autonomy. I don't know, like they're just in their own element and wanting to take care of what they need to take care of, and it's become like a race. So I just wanted to say that a lot of positive has come out of implementing this, including a more a better relationship among siblings, especially with how close in age they are.
Yeah. And that's a very good point, because
Thank you.
we talk about the importance of chores, but I hope parents can see from your example how if the entire family is involved
Yeah.
in performing chores, so if you have more than one child, how important it is to provide the different activities, because it really, really helps to bring the family together, right? So, and overall, it's doing activities at home is not just about like having the kids engage in chores.
Yeah.
It's about actively engaging your
And
children.
moving your bodies, not being in front of the TV.
Right. They're not being on your tablets and computers, like doing that. And then another thing that a lot of families are not doing anymore, which is so crucial in brain development, is board games.
Yeah.
Board games, there's so many skills to be learned from playing cards.
I've
Um,
tried it. The only thing we can play here is war. Maybe Uno, but my kids, I'm going to tell you, they have the worst sportsmanship. And yeah, I need some advice on that end
It's
because we're
but
struggling.
it's games that if you can make it more a group thing where it's turn taking, it's problem solving, it's even movement, even playing charades, right? Games like charades, wherein you're acting out something. What's that one? The Twister. There's so many different games that you can bring in. A lot of people don't bring in games anymore.
Yeah, no, we have Guess Who. That I think that's kind of a good
Okay.
one, maybe.
Uh-huh.
But
That's a good
yes,
one.
I do hear you. We're working on establishing game nights over here.
Yeah,
'Cause we
game
have
nights
seen a
is
decline on
cool.
that. Yeah.
And it's a real social emotional, because that's the thing, like most families, and I want every family who's listening tonight. When was the last time y'all had game night with your kids? With where when your kids are not on their cell phones, they're not on their tablets, they're not. When was the last time y'all did that? And I think I would like for every family to just take a check. And kudos to the families who are like, oh, we did it last weekend, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of families are not prioritizing game night. And I think game night is a real great activity for families, whether it's a family with a whole lot of children or just even one child. It's still good. It's better than your child being on those video games or on the tablets or on their cell phones. It would be amazing if
Yeah, I
more people
agree.
did
I
that. Just
usually
come up with a game.
play we usually play card games when one is waiting for the other's activity. So I told you they do the Ninja Warrior things, and so
Mhm.
they go in at separate times, and that's when I play with them. But as like a family, us a unit together sat down. It's probably been like 6 months. I feel so bad.
Don't feel bad. No
Like I just
judgment.
didn't know.
No judgment.
No judgment.
There's nothing to be gained from shame and guilt. Nothing to be gained.
I hear
All
you.
all you have to do is write it down as something that you put on your action plan. That's
Calendar.
all. I mean, you
Yeah,
and there's plenty of time for it, and you can choose which game you think your boys would enjoy with you, um, and try it out. But along with doing chores in the home, along with moving your body more, board games are a great activity to use to
yeah,
help to build your child's brains and help them perform better in school. So, no judgment on any of it. Just be more intentional
right.
in the activities that we do with our children. And that's the primary message tonight is activities at home can help to improve your child's school skills. Look at what your child is needing to be better at and design your chores and your activities by being intentional and build those activities in. Even if your child doesn't have a disability or your child is not diagnosed with ADHD or autism, a child is learning. The child's brain is plastic. Using activities help to further enhance their school skills. So
Yeah.
every family, whether your child has a disability or not, should be engaging in making sure that their kids have chores that they're performing and finding a way to engage the entire family to help their child build those social emotional skills, right? So it doesn't matter. Move, play, work. Move, play, work. And that will help your child be more successful in school, at home, and in the community. So that's all I'm saying tonight. Like, be intentional about it. Um, and Jen, I liked how you were saying, oh, because Jen, you know you're super mom, but look, Jen, the super mom, she's not playing board games with her children. She's not having game night with her children. But she's going to add it to her repertoire of the things that she does with her children because she knows the benefit of it. She just hasn't done it yet, and it's okay. She's going to do it, and there's no
Yeah.
judgment that she hasn't been doing it because it's like you learn every day, and like every day you just get better. We all do. Like every day we try to do things better than
That's right.
we did them the day before, and that's all it is. It's not.
Always improving. Oh,
Exactly.
yeah.
Always, yeah, always improve it. Always improve it. That's all we aim for. Like we just aim to get better at our parenting or our friendships or our
Right.
marriage or our relationships. We just aim every day to be better because when we do things better, we we better
Feel good.
ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We better ourselves. And remember, parents, it's not okay just for you to think about bettering your child school skills. It's about you bettering yourself to where you are happier and healthier and wealthier as well, right?
Mhm.
So it takes a whole village, and the children feed off their parents.
They do. They feel the energy, and you can't pour out of an empty cup. So you always have to take care of yourself. This I want to say past weekend, yes. The kids and I, we just had like a little spa day. I put little face masks on them. I have pictures and just had them in their little robes laying down because I needed a me day. And so I just was like, you guys are having one too. And it was nice and it was relaxing. And I think that they enjoyed it. But
Did
yeah,
they
game
did
nights I have spa days in my calendars, but not game nights. So I might just need to do
There
it
you go. Well, and the spa days were really for you, but see how you made it beneficial for them, right?
Yeah.
So did either of them make any comments about the fact that they were having face masks put on and they had on robes, and did they
No,
make no?
they enjoyed it. They like kept it on. They both did, and yeah, it was nice. And it's also what I felt like it's the beginning of skincare, and I know you know about that, Dr. Cecilia, because you're about that. But yeah, so I just felt like okay, at some point soon, I need to take them and go get them things for their face. I almost have a preteen on my hands, so.
Right. And you know how puberty can
Mhm, and
wreak
how it
havoc
smells.
on the skin. Oh my goodness. I'm glad you're exposing them to that from now. And it's really about taking care of themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's an important part of helping your children learn is teaching them how to take care of themselves and how to pamper themselves and how to relax. As a therapist, a lot I talk about like how to build skills, but also relaxation is a big part of therapy. Just chilling and calming down and
Yeah.
being in the moment.
Yeah.
I
And
even did
preserving
that
your
in the
energy.
last Thursday in a session I had with he's an 8-year-old boy, and we ended up turning off the lights in the
Yeah.
office, and I just put on, it was just my phone flashlight that gave some light,
Hmm.
and we talked about the calm. Oh, and I put on music, calming music, and he relaxed like for 10 minutes. He's like, oh, this feels good. And here it is. He's normally a kid who's running around like woo, 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 woo. But then when I gave him that opportunity to be in tune with himself and to, just tune out a lot by dimming the lights. I taken those harsh fluorescent lights out of the way. He really, really enjoyed it. And I told his mom after the session, it's like, wow, find ways at home to do this, because he really, it's like he was never exposed to that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, children do, they can enjoy the same things that we do as well, to
Yeah.
just calm and chill and just reset. Because for him, that was a reset
Hmm.
moment for
Hmm.
him. So, what you're doing with your children, where that is concerned, other parents can do it as well, just to do that and help our children reset.
Yeah.
So,
To find
wow.
their own grounding space, what helps them stay grounded. So, yeah.
Exactly. So, parents, chores, responsibility, routines, and reset. Let's put it this way, just the three are responsibilities, which will be their chores, activities, taking care of themselves, like the brushing your teeth, dressing, that stuff, right? So those are responsibilities. Then we'll give them the reinforcement and rewards by giving them their allowance, giving them their stickers, their praises, their high fives, and the reset, giving them the opportunity to just wind down, soak it in how great they are, right? And then we prepare them to be able to grow and perform. All right. So that's our takeaway for tonight. Anything before we go, Jen?
I would say my takeaway is progress over perfection. No,
Absolutely.
one day at a time, my people.
I definitely agree with you. Progress over perfection.
That's right.
Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Take it easy. Okay, guys, that's our show for tonight. I am so grateful for you guys who joined us. Remember, our YouTube channel is SLR for School Life Ready Insights on YouTube. And you can email me at schoollifeready@gmail.com. So I'll see you all next week, and y'all have a good night.
Good night, everyone.